Hey guys, so Ward here, back again with another action figure review. Today we'll be taking a look at quite possibly the best thing to come out of the Masters of the Universe live action movie, Masterverse 1987 movie, quote unquote, inspired Frank Langella Skeletor. Because we can't be using that Alan Oppenheimer shit in this video. No. Because that just wouldn't be right. And all due respect to Mr. Frank Langella here, we gotta use the deeper, more sinister and evil Skeletor voice when talking about him, right? Damn right. That said, this of course is brought to us by the fine folks over at, say it with me now, Mattel, as well as my good buddy Evil Villain, much like the Dolph Lundgren He-Man I took a look at earlier today. Check that out if you haven't already. Really appreciate it if you did. I mean, I really would. You want to give me something for Christmas, give me views and subs. Maybe one day I could put ads in front of these videos, but nevertheless, I will leave a link in the description below to Evil Villain's Instagram. Head on over there. Let them know I sent you. And as always, don't be a jerk, or I'll find you. You will not like the consequences, I assure you. Because maybe I'll send you flying into a bottomless pit of doom, much like He-Man did to poor Skeletor here at the end of that movie. Although, didn't he say he'd be back again? I mean, they were planning a second movie. But if you look into the script of that one, it makes this one look like gold. I mean, seriously, it was bad. It was really bad. So they changed it into a... was it a Van Damme movie called Cyborg? I mean, I like JCVD as much as the next guy, but if your movie is the scraps of a crap Masters of the Universe sequel, what are you doing? What are you doing, man? You could do the split kick. And you're going with that? I don't know. I'm going on a tangent here. So why don't we shut up and cut to the chase and get right into the meat and potatoes of this review, starting off with some alt hands that Mr. Frank Langella comes with here. He's got a punching hand and an open hand. Thank God, I think we're done looking at hands for a while. He does come with the Cosmic Key. Not nearly as nice as the Super 7 one, but didn't really expect it to be. You can slip his hand in here. And you can also slip it in the right way, so it makes freaking sense. There you go. There you go. Like that. Okay. So you can hold it like a mug, kinda. We also get his sword, so we can have his last battle, his final battle with He-Man. That's pretty cool. And then we get this soy boy ass Havoc staff. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the sculpt of this thing. It's too soft. Doesn't look like the movie Havoc staff. It looks like an amalgamation of the movie Havoc staff and some Bionicle pieces to me. But that's besides the point. It's a retail release figure. I shouldn't expect the Super 7 quality sculpting from Four Horsemen on these Mattel figures, because you know this is the McDonald's version of this staff, while Super 7 gave us the we'll compare a McDonald's cheeseburger to one of the Irish pubs in my area. You know, you're gonna get a better cheeseburger if you go to one of those places. It'll be more expensive, but it'll be worth it, especially if you go to Mullins, which is downtown from where I live. Oh my god, these cheeseburgers are da bomb diggity. So, taking a closer look at Skeletor, the Lord of Destruction here. I really like this figure. This might be one of my favorite Masterverse figures of the year. I'm going to count it as 2023 release because most people didn't get it until then. But he looks freaking sick. He looks just like Frank Langella too, so I don't know why we didn't get better Dolph Lundgren likeness with the He-Man. Maybe it's a rights thing. But hey, we at least got a really good likeness to Mr. Frank Langella here. And to be honest with you, I wasn't lying when I said that Frank Langella's Skeletor is the best thing to come out of the 87 movie. He freaking is. He did a kick-ass job as his character. Not my mind's eye view of him at all. You know, he's got way too many clothes on, but, you know, he does have the white skeletal face with the fangs, so a bit of a 2000X flair there, even though this predates 2000X by 15 years. So as far as articulation goes, his head will rotate, look up and down a little bit. It does just pop right off that ball joint, though, and his ball joint's pretty locked, so, you know. That said, he does have all the hood and plastic pieces and then the cape as well, so, you know, it is what it is. His shoulders can rotate. They do appear to have like hinges on these pauldron pieces. I'll pop his head off again because it's not hard to do. Take this off. These look like they're hinged. I don't know if they are or if that's just flexible plastic, but they feel hinged to me. Like ever so slightly. Not a lot. Just a little bit. Just enough to get out of the way. Especially this side. Maybe they are just flexing, but they do feel a little hinged, so I don't think you gotta worry about breaking those. Really, with Mattel stuff, you don't gotta worry about breaking anything unless you're cranking on neck pegs like a certain YouTuber, he won't be named here. I already effed up and made that mistake once in the Sorcerer's Tila review. What? You are nothing. But his shoulders do rotate. He does have a bicep swivel. He's got a double jointed elbow. Works really well. He's got a diaphragm joint that crunches forward, crunches back, tilts side to side, rotates a little loose for my liking, but not terrible. He's got all this stuff going on, so his torso's pretty locked down. I might have to heat up this belt though and get this situated down here where it's supposed to be, because it's riding high on him, and I don't know, it just looks weird because you got the gap where it looks like it's supposed to sit, and it doesn't sit. So, and I can't figure out if it's supposed to pop off or not. I kind of don't think it does, but I haven't really tried it yet. And if I can pop this thing off and attach it with it a little lower, then I'm gonna try it. That said, he does have a waist cut. It works fine. His hips kick forward and back. If we move the arm and this, he can kick out to the side pretty well. He does have a thigh cut. He's got a double knee. It's very tight on him, especially on the other side. I had to heat it to get it to work. I don't know if I gotta do that again or not. I know Dolph Lundgren's knees were a little tight too, so I might have to hit him with a little bit of heat as well, but woo! Snap, crackle, pop, Rice Krispies, mother trucker. I will say, I did heat his shoulders up to get them this flush to the body. So as long as you do that, you should have no problems there. I didn't mention, he's got the proper hinge for holding weapons there, so you're welcome. I'll take a full credit for that. But he only has it on one side. He doesn't have it on this side, so I don't know what's up with that. He does have a boot swivel, however, and a hinge in the foot with a rocker, and peg holds the bottom of the feet. So yeah, really like this figure. I think they did a good job with him. I think they did a great job with him. Heard a little bit of rumblings about the colors not being accurate to the movie, because the costume, by the time it was last photographed, was, you know, I forget what they call it. Faded. It was faded a bit. I don't give a shit. You know, this figure looks kick-ass. I love this figure. I love Frank Langella's Skeletor, so anytime they make a Frank Langella Skeletor that's affordable, I'm gonna pick it up. I'm kicking myself for not buying the Super 7 Golden God one, but maybe someday Mattel will get around to making one. I mean, they got the parts. All they got to do is give us another head. I will say, I'm a bit bummed he didn't come with like a cool vintage-style Skeletor head like the He-Man came with a vintage-style He-Man head. That seems like a missed opportunity there. But giving him his discount Havoc staff, I would say the only thing wrong with this figure is this Havoc staff, because this thing just looks lame. At least compared to the Super 7 one, which, you know, if we're going to compare Mattel to Four Horsemen, like, I already did the cheeseburger comparison. What else do I need to do? But there's that. And then I like to give him the sword. I think he looks cool with the sword, so I'll give him the sword here. Alright. And that's it. That is Skeletor ready to rock. Looking awesome. You know, I didn't check. Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. You could put the cosmic key in his hand. Can you put it in He-Man's hand? I assume you can. He's got the same open hand that Skeletor's got. Yeah. Yeah, you could totally do that. Put it in He-Man's hand too, so that's cool, I guess. It's not a complete waste, that hand, but again, I'm used to a figure with that hand coming with a shield too. But either way, with that being said, we move right along and take a look at some size comparisons. First up, here is good old Frank Langella's Skeletor from the 87 movie, quote-unquote, inspired subline, alongside the 87 movie, quote-unquote, inspired Dolph Lundgren He-Man from the fine folks over at, say it with me now, Mattel, as well as the Black Despot Skeletor from the fine folks over at Super 7. This was part of the William Stout collection, if I'm not mistaken, and quite frankly looks like he's been eating McDonald's cheeseburgers, whereas the Mattel one has been eating the good Irish pub cheeseburgers. The Skeletor from Super 7's awesome. It was one of my figures of the year for that year. What was it, 2020? Right? I don't think I put him in the actual top, was it 10 video? But he's definitely up there. After becoming more of a Masters fan over the past few years, I definitely put him up there in the top figures of that year. But he's too thick with 3 C's. Like, he's way too thick. I don't care how many C's you put on. You put 2 or 3 on there, he's too thick. The Mattel one has a much better build, but I will say I think the sculpt of the hood on the Super 7 one's better, but the head on the Mattel one's better. So if you use some heat, you could probably swap those. I did hit this guy with a hairdryer earlier just to see if the head would pop off, and it does. It pops off really easy when it's hot. When it's not gonna pop right off. So, you know, be careful with your stuff. But he does have the better Havoc staff and sword, though. I'll give him that. Those are much better than the Mattel ones. But, you know, again, Four Horsemen, they pretty much knock it out of the park, no matter what they do. So, get him out of here. And it should be worth noting also, the Mattel one's also more articulated. So if that's your bag, then obviously you're going to like them more. I myself don't really care about articulation. I think it's overrated, but speaking of which, not just Four Horsemen, but figures that aren't overly articulated. Here's the Mythic Legion's Brother Mandibulus. This wouldn't be one of my videos without him. Of course, we have the infamous Unkar 11 Spawn, who, as usual, I think, he's not towering over Frank Langella here, but he's close. It's close. Close, but no cigar. So with that being said, it's time now that we wrap things up. Some final thoughts. Overall, and while I don't believe that good old Frank Langella Skeletor, the Lord of Destruction, here is worth the deluxe price point, much like the Dolph Lundgren He-Man I took a look at earlier today. Check that out if you haven't already. Really appreciate it if you did. This is still by far one of my favorite Masterverse figures of the year, hands down, because while this figure may not be perfect, it has way less flaws than the 87 movie itself. Because at the end of the day, I wanted a Frank Langella Skeletor that I could really mess around with, and at the end of the day, that's what I got. Yeah, the Black Despot Skeletor from the Super 7 William Stout collection's great and all, especially as far as accuracy to the costume goes, but as far as the build of Frank Langella, this guy wins. The likeness to Frank Langella, this guy wins. The only thing he doesn't win at is the Burger King McDonald's Havoc staff there. That kind of blows. The sword, take or leave, really. He holds his better than the Super 7 one, so I guess that's that. And he also has the better hinge in the wrist, so he can hold his Havoc staff a little bit better than the Super 7 one, so I guess that is that. But at the end of the day, it's not perfect, but it's a damn good figure. And I'm so glad to have him as a part of my Masterverse collection, and I can't wait to get my hands on the Megan Foster Evelyn so I can pair her up with her Lord and Master here. Very much looking forward to that, if I do say so myself. So, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and until next time, I'll catch you guys later.